Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I bet you've really been looking forward to this one.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Alien Romulus, which released in 2024. From writers Fede Alvarez and Rodo Sayeguz, and directed by Fede Alvarez. Iain, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story for Alien Romulus is set after Alien and just before Aliens. We follow Rain, a miner from an unnamed Weyland-Yutani-controlled planet who is wanting to go off to hopefully see the sun. She and a group of friends have just found a signal being broadcast from what appears to be an abandoned Weyland-Yutani station above their planet, and so they fly up to see what they can salvage from this station. When they get up there, they turn the power on, and they unleash nightmares upon themselves. Will any of them survive? And will any of us care?
Well, I suppose we should get into it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Being a mega fan of the Alien franchise, I was filled with optimism when I realized that Ridley Scott and his involvement with the Alien franchise was pretty much over. Yeah, that's how it seemed anyway.
Yeah.
And I let out an internal cheer when I heard that Fede Alvarez had been signed up to make a new Alien film. I was like, oh, we might get an Alien film that rivals the brutality of Alien 3 on screen.
Yeah, that is true.
We might get an original story with original characters, and we're going to see the Xenomorph on screen doing its thing. Because we've not had it for like the last two movies, not properly.
Not properly, no.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then I was a little bit let down when I found out that this film was going straight to streaming. And that immediately told me that the studio really didn't have much faith in Predator or Alien at this point anymore.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
And after Prey went to streaming and everyone went, actually, then why wasn't that in the cinema? And it did really well, word of mouth. And then the studio went, oh, actually, well, I guess maybe we should put Alien out in the cinema. And I bet they're pretty glad they did, because it was the film that knocked Deadpool and Wolverine off the #1 spot for at least a week anyway. And this film became the highest grossing Alien film since James Cameron's Aliens. It made a lot of money. And so Disney have already seen the dollar signs and have already commissioned sequels and spin-offs and extended universe media for this film as well. And I have to say, when I did leave the cinema after seeing this film, and I always say that I do, I had the theater experience, and I was filled with, that wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. I feel for you, man. I remember when we sat there on the podcast and you were well excited and you were like, man, we've got to go together. And I said, look, don't wait for me, man, because I was really unsure, you know. I just come off the back of The Predator with a little kid running around with Pred Tech, so that kind of pissed me off. And then we had Terminator Dark Fate, where Terminators make drapes. That was well fun. And so with Romulus, I was a little bit skeptical. I was a little bit nervous. I didn't want to upset my friend, though, because, you know, he was so excited, and I was excited for him. But my spider sense was tingling. I knew something was up. I didn't know what it was, but something snuck up on us. You know, I didn't go and see it in the cinema. I waited. I waited for it to drop on DVD because I wanted to watch it at home on my own. I did wiki it. I wikied it because it was 2024, so it doesn't count for this year. I wikied it last year, and I read the plot, and I was like, but I couldn't say anything to anybody. I had to wait fucking 3 weeks or 2 weeks at least for you to see it, and then for you to come to me, and I'd go,
It was all right.
yeah. And I'm like, you fucking serious? You fucking, what the? I cannot stand a fucking movie. I'm sorry. I cannot stand a fucking movie that steals bits from other movies. And especially other movies that have taken the fucking blows and the hits for being a bad movie. If you're going to come along and take something from that movie and go, look, we're going to make it better, Like Tekken 2. Remember Tekken 2?
No.
Well, Tekken 2 did that with fucking Ghosts of Mars and Godzilla. They took 2 fucking shots from 2 other movies and slapped down their own movie and went, hey, look how good we are. And nobody in all the conversations I had leading up to me watching fucking Romulus did not tell me about that audio cue right at the fucking beginning.
They talk about the 20th century logo that kind of distorts and feels like Alien 3.
Feels?
Well, you see, this was right at the beginning and I was getting comfortable in my seat and I'm like, you know what? That's a cool start. That's a cool callback. It got me in the... You're watching an Alien film now. Remember.
No.
Remember.
No, yeah. Remember how good Alien 3 is.
Yeah, I know. So
And
I'm like,
remember how bad you felt when you watched Alien 3 for the first time because they had killed everything you had cared for up to that point.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hitting press play on Romulus and I hear that audio cue and before the film's even started, I fucking paused it. This is the first time. This was the first time I watched it. I watched this 3 times for you. 3 times. I watched it twice for this review, so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Pardon my French, I don't mean to upset any of you while you're watching this, but I fucking researched this fucking movie. And when that audio cue came up, I paused the fucking movie the first time. I walked out the room. I was so angry they'd done it. And then I walked back in the room and my wife went, are you okay? And I fucking just unloaded on her. I'm like, no! They fucking stole it from fucking Alien 3!
well, I mean, if you're angry now... Woo!
This whole opening, like I said, I've watched this opening 3 times, okay? Now, kudos, I will give kudos to whoever was in charge to say, hey, we need an opening for Alien Romulus, but we need to incorporate everything from all the other movies up to this point.
Right.
And they managed to do it. Like, we follow this probe flying through space. And we have the kind of...
the mother booting up. We see the reflective lights on another lens.
Well, actually, I was going to mean... Because you get, like, the credits names popping up and stuff
very
like that.
much like Alien.
Well, no, very much like Aliens. The style of writing is Aliens. That you see it when it's popping up.
Also Alien, yeah. It's...
Kind of Alien as well. But more, especially when it says like Scott Free and Brandywine Productions, you can just see the italic that they're using is much like from Aliens. But you've also got the style of this probe thing flying through and the sound coming up just like Alien. And I know I'm not a scientist. I don't really understand how space works. But I'm pretty sure wreckage shouldn't clump together in one space.
No, it should not. Especially, I mean, I'm going to insert some footage right here of the end of Alien. Spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
That ship exploded, I think, not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Pretty fucking big.
That was a nuclear reactor that exploded.
Yeah.
That was... Everything on that ship was atomized.
Or blown in millions of miles of directions.
Yes! And then this film goes, and here's the wreckage, and look, you can still make out the Nostromo name on the side.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm like, okay, this script was written by Egypts that just don't have the basics of physics in mind. So I was like, I'm like, this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem.
Yeah.
But it gets worse from there.
How does it get worse?
Because I was excited. I mean, I was concerned when the rumor came out that big chap himself,
the big alien,
the big alien from Alien, was going to be the alien in this film, and they find it.
How did the probe find it? How did they know what it was looking for? This probe literally goes, I found this wreckage, and I'm going to ignore everything of this wreckage and find this rock, this space rock, because this is what we're looking for. And spoilers, we get told that that's what they are looking for later on, right? But we watch it, and it's...
Do they put tracking sensors on the harpoons that they fire from those ships?
No!
Because that is the only way. It's the only, because we do find out when we find the remains of Big Chap, spoilers for Romulus, who gives a fuck, when they find the harpoon, it's still in the alien's
It's still
corpse.
in the alien.
So that's the only way I can think that they may have found it. Because there's 0.0 infinite 0-1 chance they would have found that cocooned alien in space.
Yeah.
It's honestly mind-boggling, and that is the opening of this film, and that is the biggest issue and hurdle I have of even getting into because the film's not even started yet. We haven't even got to our main characters. This is establishing what the location that the film will take place on, and I can't get past the science. And it's boggling, and it's awful.
Visually, it's pretty. Yes, I will give you that. And it is very good special effects. But unfortunately, as a film watcher, I can't just go with looks alone. The film actually has to have depth. So yes, the probe looks nice. It's flying through space. It's doing what a probe should do. It picks up the rock and it flies back. And I'm sat there going, so they designed this probe to find this thing in space because it's doing what it did. It's opened its jaws, the things come inside and it closes.
Yes.
And then it flies back to wherever the station is. The Renaissance station. It's not Romulus station. It's not Remus station. It's actually those two put together in the Renaissance station. And it flies all the way back to them. And just to rub it in my face, just to annoy me even more, like the movie's already showed me like visuals from Alien and visuals from Aliens, and then it gets on board the station and they start cutting open this space rock and you get the chains and the sheet and the lighting like a furnace, just like Alien 3, you know, and you've got all those scientists stood around looking at this thing just like the beginning of Alien Resurrection while they're doing the monitoring of Sigourney Weaver, and they get this laser. Now, once again, I know I'm not a genius, but I'm pretty sure a laser should cut all the way through. Not just the outside line, so that when they get to the outside, they can lift off the top of the rock like it's a fucking Kinder Egg. And there's the alien inside. They're like, oh, look, we found the alien. Now we can experiment on it. Oh, isn't that good? And so, yeah, part of you really wants to say like, oh, I'm excited because all these people are going to fucking die. You know, they're stupid enough to find this creature and then to experiment on it. Like, I've watched enough of these movies. These people are fucking dead. One of them's bound to explain to us what happened in the future. Spoilers, no, they're all fucking dead.
Bar one synthetic.
It's a big rock. Can't wait to tell my friends. They don't have a rock this big.
But then we cut to the planet, right? Now, what's it called again? LV what? Like
the planet they're on?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like
the planet that she dreams about going to? I don't know.
Yavaga is the planet that
right.
this Rain goes to. Rain Carradine, played by Cailee Spaeny, she's on this planet. Now, she's been living on this planet her entire life. Gary, how old would you say this girl is?
21.
So she is 21. She has been living on this planet for 21 years. She has never been to space once. We are told she is a space virgin. Her family lived on this planet with her. Her family have died.
It's one of those shake and bake colonies.
Her family died 3 cycles ago. How long is a cycle? I don't know. Is it a season? Is it a year? We don't know. But she's been living with her step brother, adopted brother, android Andy, played by David Jonsson. Now, this Rain has lived on this planet for 21 years. She seems to be doing well. She's got enough food. She's got a place to live. Her parents are taking care of her. And not just that, but her dad found Andy the android, damaged, fixed him, and kept him.
Now, that is my problem.
Since she was 12, remember? He's been telling those jokes since she was 12. So, like, how come nobody else has an android?
That is my problem, is that I find it completely inconceivable that anybody would have a pet android from Weyland-Yutani. You know, because Weyland-Yutani, they should not be discarding sensitive material or tools or software like Andy. especially when Andy is a skeleton key to all of their secret facilities and spaceships and stations that anyone could just walk on. So I'm pretty sure they would want any other synthetics destroyed and not being used like they are. And so I find all of that just broken writing.
Yeah.
Now, I like the character of Andy and I like the character of Rain, despite that they don't have much depth to them.
Nope.
Fede Alvarez said the core of the idea was about a sibling relationship between a human and a synthetic, and it's something that the Alien universe has played with all the way throughout.
Yeah.
And so I'm totally fine with that. But the way it got to that point, I don't like. I think it doesn't make sense. And on top of that, I have a real problem with Andy having the mentality of a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
it's baffling. Now, I know that we're told that he is broken, and but then the broken means he has a mentality of a 5-year-old, or he has autism, or he has some other mental handicaps that makes him like a child.
This is what I couldn't get past, is like, would a damaged synthetic have learning difficulties? Because that's how they're playing him along. But the thing I can't get past is that he's been like this since fucking Rain was 12 or further than that. They haven't done anything with him right from this beginning bit where she's walking him through and she's going to get her contract checked out to see if she's got enough to leave the planet, which, like I said, as a plot point, it's like, oh, Weyland Yutani are evil. We're going to extend your contract. Where the fuck are you going to go? It takes you 9 years to get to another planet. You could die on the way.
Well, you could cryo-sleep and, well, yeah, looking back at Covenant, yeah, you could easily die on the way.
You could easily die on the way. So where you are at the moment, and like I said, with this...
She dreams of seeing the sun, Iain. She needs to see the sun.
It's fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. They called her Rain, and she wants to see the sun.
But didn't you see the miner walking past with the canary in a box? She's the girl she's the bird in the box, Iain.
We're in the fucking, 23rd fucking century, and you're telling me that Weyland Yutani love their fucking colonists so much they gave them canaries?
Well, yeah, they did. I guess mining has not changed whatsoever.
Somebody somewhere just went, right, we need Weyland Yutani to be the big evil, but we don't know how to make them big evil, so we're just going to make them fucking 18th century Victorian.
Yeah.
Like you said, with the whole Andy thing, it's like, oh, well, we'll just abandon this android so that any fucking farmer miner can fix it. And just he's got access because it'll play out. Don't worry. I'm just getting fucking started on this. Rain goes and meets her good buddy, Tyler. Tyler has a thing for Rain, and the film tries to imply to us that they must have had some relationship, but not a big relationship because they're not in love with each other, but Tyler kind of still finds her. And Kay, his sister, is so fucking happy to see Rain, like a lost sister, like, oh my god, I wish you were with me and not fucking Tyler. Tyler's got his own ship.
From where?
I have no fucking idea. Like, supposedly he might have got it from his parents because his parents are dead.
I think all of these kids' parents are dead.
All these kids' parents are dead. Like, I get the idea of using young actors because you wanted to maybe start something fresh.
They don't cost as much.
And they don't cost as much. But these young actors looked too good for colonists that are supposed to be suffering on this planet. They look too clean. They look too tidy. They're healthy. They're eating. And they're just so angry at Weyland Yutani for
extending their contract by 6
for
months.
not giving them anything. You're alive?
Yeah. And so just to... I mean, again, I also quite liked all the costumes here. Like, this is one of the few times we've seen extended colonies of a Weyland Yutani world, building better worlds.
Bro, it's not hard.
Yeah.
Cameron did it.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, exactly. But again, the seed of those deleted scenes or extended scenes is what Fede latched onto of going, oh, let's take the children that we saw running around that colony. Let's wonder what life would be like for them. Well, apparently miserable, and all their parents are dead.
Yeah.
So, can I go now?
Can I go now?
And so, but I liked the facility. Like, the woman sat there, like, they're all wearing very 1980s clothing. So I love that they've kind of got that truckers aesthetic, or they've taken like the fashion that we see in Alien and Aliens is still here. So I kind of like that they didn't go Alien. I was going to say Alien Prometheus. They didn't go the Prometheus route, and then Fede's gone on to say, there's definitely a class sort of system. They don't have like the Apple products. We've kind of got the retro VHS cassette tapes kind of future down here. So I did like all of the aesthetics and looks, and I thought it was all very fine. I have the problem though with the fact that everybody has just been told, hey, your contract's been raised 6 years.
Yeah,
Fucking
6 years.
Get back in those mines and make us some money. It's like, and everyone's just like, yeah, okay. Everyone just carries on, except Rain, but she gets distracted because Andy's getting beaten up and bullied, and she has to defend him. And then she goes to see her friends, and her friends like, "We're leaving the planet. There's a space station up there, and we can get some cryo fuel.
Man.
We'll be able to fly to your dream sun planet."
I just this whole bit is just a fucking rush, really. This whole planet bit is it's just rushed. Rain establishing her relationship with Andy, then going meeting the woman and realizing her contract's been extended, so she's really miserable. And then she goes and meets Tyler, and Tyler goes, "Oh yeah, me and Bjorn, played by Spike Fern, we were doing this delivery, and we picked up a signal on our hyperlink system that nobody else on this entire fucking planet,
including the company
that are supposed to be all evil." Nobody picked up the fact that there is a Weyland-Yutani abandoned thing above us. And not only that, but this hyperlink system that we used, right, can tell us what supplies are on board this unknown Weyland-Yutani abandoned thing. Because, we need cryofuel and cryostasis to be able to get the 9 years to Yavaga, right? Yeah, okay, well, that's what this has got.
Well, let's go get it.
Let's go. And that's what they do. They get on their fucking ship and they go. They don't get clearance. They don't get guns aimed at them. Nobody
contacts them and says, hey, what are you doing? You're in our airspace. So nothing.
Nobody. And that's what boggles my mind is when we're sitting there saying, right, Weyland-Yutani, the evil guys. I'm like, no, they let them go.
No, they're freaking incompetent. I mean, we know that now from the extended stuff, but we're just seeing it over and over again. And your brain is asking all these questions that the people that made the people that wrote it did not even conceive of.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, oh, if they're going on there, the Marines or the Weyland-Yutani mercenaries are going to be after them. I was like, oh, the body count's going to be high.
Yeah,
but no. Nobody goes back to that station above other than these characters. But I absolutely did love the scenery here. I gotta say, my breath was taken away by how beautiful these shots were. The space vista of them rising up through the storm clouds and coming up into space, the station, the planet, the rings. I'm like, this is space sci-fi. Like, all the money spent on it, this great shot.
But of course it's going to be good. They stole it from the other fucking 4 movies.
Well, it didn't have a planet with the ring and the station there. It all looks different. And it all looks very nice and clean, and it's...
But that's the point. It shouldn't look nice.
It should. It's a modern cinematic movie. It should look good.
That's one of the biggest...
I'm talking about space. Space outside doesn't look changed.
I totally get what you mean. And what I'm meaning is that you're setting a movie back prior to where you are now. You're setting it... This movie takes place 20 years after Alien, 37 years before Aliens. And I'm only using that as a guide because Ripley is fucking found 57 years after fucking Alien, right? This movie is set like that. It's like, you see it with a lot of movies nowadays where they go, right, okay, we're setting it in this time, but because of all of our modern technology, we can soup everything up. So you do get that wonderful shot of Rain looking out the window going, oh my God, I've never seen the sun before. Oh, it's so bright in my eyes. Yes, Rain, we don't care. Okay, we do not give a shit that you have never...
character arc that she's got so far.
I know, but she is a She is a Ripley ripoff.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, she is a ripoff of a ripoff of Ripley.
She is a ripoff.
She's third generation Ripley.
All 3 women in this movie, Navarro, Rain, and Kay, all sport a different hairstyle from Sigourney Weaver from the 3 movies that she was in.
Yep.
Or 4, technically, if you look at Alien Resurrection with the long hair. Navarro has the skinhead. Rain has the kind of tidy hair. You know, Kay's got it kind of longer like she did have in Alien. And it took me my third watch to realize that. I'm like, you cheeky fucking bastards. You couldn't even just leave your characters to be original. You had to go, you have to be a bit like Ripley. Why? Well, because the fans will like it and we're trying to do callbacks. No, they couldn't afford to get Sigourney Weaver in, or she just purposely made herself busy. So they were like, look, we need to make the callbacks. You are having way too many callbacks. We haven't even got to the fucking station yet, and I've already counted like fucking 20 plus callbacks. There's that shot where her and Andy sit down to have their food, right?
Yeah.
That fucking nodding bird. And I see one more fucking Alien movie with that fucking nodding bird in the background. I swear to God.
I don't mind the bobbing bird thing. As long as it's in the background, I'm like, because it's there in Alien, it's there in Aliens, it's there in Alien Isolation, it's here now. I don't mind that too much. That's a little thing.
But the little things build up because you're
They
looking
do.
and you're
They
starting
do.
to notice more and more and more
it's
and
the
more.
amount of them that eventually crushes and ruins all the goodwill of having a little Easter egg here and there. It's not just, I mean, those are Easter eggs, those are fine. Those are there for the fans to see and go, that's kind of cool, that's fine. It's the more obvious and aggressive ones, and the film hits you with them harder and harder and heavier and heavier as the film goes. But I mean, when I was watching this for the first time, when they were going up through the storm clouds, I was sat in my seat going, yeah, express elevator to hell, going up. Like, okay.
Oh
makes
God,
a difference.
I didn't even realize that.
Right.
I mean, I kind of got it when you had Bjorn stood in the doorway and he's doing this smoking quickly because the crush is sucking all the air out. And yeah, that is Hudson's moment, isn't it? And like Spike Fern, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but man, they really fucked him over in this movie. But I wonder if they sat him down and went, right, Spike, your character's called Bjorn. You're the cousin to Tyler.
You're going to say something else then.
You're the cousin to Tyler and Kay. You're a little bit annoyed at androids because your mum was accidentally killed by one. But just to let you know, for the remainder of this movie, people are gonna fucking hate you.
Okay, now here's an example of where I go bad writing.
Bad writing, yeah.
Now, we watch Bjorn be an absolute dick to Andy on the station. And then cuts to Rain talking to Kay or Navarro on the ship.
On the ship, yeah.
And then she's like, oh, why is he being so horrible to Andy?
Yeah.
It's like, and then she explains like, oh, well, few years ago, you remember there was an android.
No, it wasn't a few. It was recently. Okay, it was fucking recent.
In the not too distant past,
yeah,
an android prevented his family from escaping to save a larger amount. The needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few, and so he's sour to that. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Rain would probably know this information.
She should.
Who is she saying this to? Oh, she's talking to me. Oh, well, yeah, that's right. I'm watching a movie. Yeah. That is not how you deliver exposition to a character that already knows all of that information.
Last cycle, there was a gas leak in the mines, so Synthetic made the call to seal them with Bjorn's mom still trapped inside.
It is stupid.
It's like this thing where they get on board the fucking station, right? And yes, okay, I'll agree. Visually, it looks nice. The lighting, the shadow, the blah, blah, blah. I get it. You've got fucking 4 to 6 fucking movies to work from. It shouldn't be hard to replicate an alien universe, okay? But it's like they get on board and then it's like, right, we've got this scanner. Right, and so the scanner is making the same noise from Alien, and the camera work of the cameras that we're watching walk around reminds us of Aliens. Oh, the 3 of them walking down the corridors. It's like, oh, it's kind of like Alien. Why they had to climb through that tiny little air duct just to show off the fact they're in 0G? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they had to get somewhere to power up so that they could then do something else.
Yeah, it's just like we just have to shove.
They just had to do some stuff to so they could get on board. But it was fine. But again, watching them crawl through that tiny vent, I was like, it's like Bishop in the pipe in Aliens.
Yeah, that's it. But it's like they start to look for the fucking cryo capsules, right? Now, at first they realize they haven't got enough fuel to fly all the way to Yavaga because it will take ages and they need the cryo capsules. And then once they find the cryo capsules, guess what? We haven't got enough fuel for them either.
Yay, so, oh wait, I found some more on my tracker. My tracker knows where there's some more, so let's go!
Man. Like I said, I don't mind a callback. I don't mind a nod. what I cannot fucking stand is when you blatantly shove it in my face like that fucking cock from fucking Fight Club, you know, where he's just like, oh, Navarro, can you pick up the EV? She's like, yeah, and it flies into the ship, doesn't it? The Cabello or whatever it's called. And it makes such a wonderful W. Oh, look at it. Wasn't it such a good symbolism?
It's perfection, Iain. So, let's get to some more issues that we have with the film.
Oh, yes.
They go into a storeroom that has wall-to-wall, vacuum-sealed facehuggers. And they walk around this room and go, oh, there's some weird shit in here, but that's the coolers we need. Let's get them.
Yeah.
Oh, let's take the... I mean, I don't know if these coolers are keeping all these other things cooled down.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. We need it. Oh, we've taken out one?
Yeah.
Oh, they're actually heating up.
Well, actually...
Isn't that a bit of a design flaw in your system that you remove one cryo fuel,
Yeah,
and
well,
the entire system overheats?
I think that's the point of the lights kind of going up, because he touches one, doesn't it, and it only has a couple of lights, and then he touches the other one and it has more, and he goes, oh yeah, we've got more than enough fuel. So the one they take out is the one that's actually keeping all the
so they decided, you know, I'm pretty sure the scientists would have realized how dangerous they are, hence vacuum sealed.
Oh,
but they thought, you know what, just if one little thing goes wrong with our coolant, they're all out. But on top of that, when they do obviously take it out, and then we see it all heating up, and everyone in there like, oh, we can't get out. And we see the facehuggers emerging from their paper seals. I was like, why, Weyland-Yutani, did you put them in like a paper bag and then cool them and think that would be fine? Because of course they all wake up and break out and they're in the fucking water.
Stop playing around, man. Just get out.
I'm not playing around. There's something in the water.
What do you mean? What is it?
I don't know what it is. There's something in the fucking water.
I don't get this either. I don't get this fucking sequence. Why is there water all on the floor?
Because it's an alien movie and there's always water dripping in these space stations and flooding
I
compartments.
get that, but the film doesn't explain why there's water in this room at all, other than it's a cool way to hide the facehuggers. And like Gary said, yeah, you've got vacuum sealed fucking facehuggers. So that means the movie is trying to completely bypass the egg sequence. Okay.
Well, it made me think, well, okay, well, I saw the facehuggers. My brain just went, oh, there's a queen somewhere. Oh.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, there isn't. They really...
Or there may have been and we just didn't see it because, I mean...
No, there isn't. No, because all these facehuggers are clones.
Yes, I know, but that still means... I mean, I'm still going by the extended alien lore that if there's no queen in a hive, one of the aliens will...
Yeah, I get
evolve
that,
into one.
But it's not... here.
We don't know. We don't see it.
No, my friend.
Might have been there.
No, there is not.
Did you explore every nook and cranny of the ship yourself, Iain?
Mate, I fucking researched this movie like a fucking bastard to make sure I didn't fucking miss anything. And one of the biggest plot points that these writers fucking missed out on was Big Chappie should have evolved. That should have been the biggest fucking turning point of this movie. They bring the alien on board. The alien turns out it's not dead. It starts making its own hive. And Rook, Ian Holmes' fucking ghostly CGI. Yeah, Rook would explain to us that actually they didn't realize that the alien could evolve and turn into an egg layer because they haven't seen one yet, because we won't see one until Aliens. But they couldn't do that because they had Ridley Scott on board and they had to go back to Prometheus. They had to go back to the black
Just gonna
goo.
say, they also had James Cameron on board, who did have a look at Fede's script and gave him pointers. And then when the film came out, James Cameron went...
yeah, I would have done it well.
It's still the same guy that went, Terminator Dark Fate.
Well, like I said, one of the things that pisses me off about this egg room sequence is the fact that they are not utilizing Andy at all, other than just to open doors. We are talking about a perfectly able synthetic who, will not be disturbed by any of the facehuggers when he goes into that room, and B, should be able to carry the fucking thing in and out without a problem.
If we're going to go in that logic, again, the incompetency of Weyland-Yutani, they're going to go, hey, like, we find out later on in this film, we're jumping
We're going. We're just stay with us.
Can't help it.
Yeah.
But we're on this tangent at the moment. that Weyland-Yutani had the Romulus station or the Remus station, and then after the events of Alien, the other half of the station was built, and we find out later that Rook has been in contact with Ash during the events of Alien, or who do we think sent the message? All other parties rescinded. It was sent by Rook, and so they know. Potentially, I mean, if they found the wreckage, so they know.
Yeah.
And they know, and he would know what happened with the alien life cycle.
Oh, don't
How
forget,
about-
he's had 20 years.
20 or so,
fucking
yeah.
years.
And so, I mean, I don't know how long it's been since they found the alien itself, other than
6
the
months.
information he had. Okay,
170 fucking
all right,
days.
there we go.
170 fucking
he's
days.
He's had plenty of time to figure out the alien probably has acid for blood.
Yeah.
But on top of that, he probably figured out at this point that the alien probably can't do anything to a synthetic other than destroy it and damage it. But it can't replicate and it can't reproduce, etc. So how about we get all the humans off Renaissance Station and get in some synthetics to do the work? But no, it's Weyland-Yutani. They're like, nah.
Yeah, they're like, well, we don't know. We don't. You know, this is one of my biggest flaws as well. Like I said, just keeping on the tangent of the movie, shall we say, they go into this room, they take out the fucking cryostasis fuel, it opens up all the facehuggers. Now, this was what a lot of people saw behind the scenes stuff before the film dropped, because, you know, it was like, oh, look, they're using actual props, actual remote control facehuggers to get those sequences. And I was like, if all we're seeing at the moment is the facehuggers, and we're seeing that a lot in the trailer, then where's all the behind the scenes for the xenomorphs themselves? You know, not that I wanted spoilers, but if you're going to show me this shit, I want to see more shit. You know, I've sat through hours of behind the scenes stuff of Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3. I'll fucking eat up all the behind the scenes stuff of Alien Romulus, and they're like, oh no, we've got these remote control facehuggers.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't have like a collector's, you know, omnibus edition of the films yet. This film, like, I mean, digital, like most films go digital now. We don't have all of the behind the scenes stuff like in collectors as much anymore.
Yeah.
And so bits and pieces behind the scenes have gone out there, but it's not.
But it's also the fact that they don't want to admit that they did make mistakes at certain points.
Oh no, Fede has come out and said, I've made mistakes. The Ian Holmes face was a mistake.
He had to. We'll get to that.
I just want to go on a tangent. The animatronic facehuggers and the way that they moved.
Yeah.
I saw it in the trailer, and then when it happened in the film, I was like, that was amazing. Seeing that many facehuggers rushing up against the door, like their fingers trying to get through, and then the glass breaks, the door opens, and both they're through. I was like, that's great. That's really great. But
I was waiting for that. But
in the first movie, again, bang, facehugger straight away. It's taken straight out. In Aliens, we see how much the Marines struggle with two facehuggers in that room.
Yeah.
In Alien Resurrection, like those facehuggers, bam, straight on Ripley's face. So she is upgraded strength, and she is underwater struggling to get that thing off her face.
Yeah.
In here we go.
In
now.
Romulus,
Alien Romulus is like, oh, just grab a stick and hit it, mate.
Yeah.
I can do this all day,
mate. Tyler, fucking Tyler gets taken out by one. Well, he gets knocked out. He gets stunned by Bjorn. Bjorn's able to knock like 3 or 4 back to protect himself. And then, as they're fucking escaping, Navarro, played by Eileen Wu, who has not had much of a backstory, who has not had much to fucking say in this movie,
and she had a prayer.
Oh,
which
yeah.
she said in Cantonese, which translated meant, please protect the 5 of us. And if you look, Rain has there's 6 of us, bitch, kind of face. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
Navarro is the one girl who gets taken out, and the movie couldn't have made it more fucking obvious.
Well, I mean, she's the girl on the poster with the facehugger, so it's like,
yeah,
spoiler.
Yeah, she gets fucking facehuggered, and they'd already gotten the chip, the disc thing from the Ash android that was on the floor, and put it in Andy. So now Andy's got a bit of an upgrade. And so David Jonsson is now acting like he's smarter and knows what he's talking about and knows what
corporate
he's doing.
synthetic Andy.
Yeah,
now,
he is now a little bit better. It actually really doesn't change any aspect of him throughout the entire movie. He's not faster, stronger, more adaptable. He doesn't fight or anything.
I mean, there's that sequence at one point where I think it's Bjorn's trying to close the door and he just wedges it and lifts it back up. And I was like, holy shit, he's really strong.
He's a fucking droid, dude. Of course he is.
So, I mean, I guess he's not made any stronger by it, but he's now more capable. So, you know, he is now an advanced version of himself.
But other than that one bit,
well, I mean, he will
doesn't...
also... Yeah, he also grabs one of the facehuggers, which I thought was a really cool shot, where he grabs the tail and flings it against the wall. I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that.
That's it.
Well, yeah.
He holds a door and he grabbed a tail.
Yeah, but I mean, it's designed now to also show that he has lost any kind of emotional attachment to Rain, and that he no longer feels like the brother. And because we also had the sequences earlier where Andy was informed by Bjorn that he was no longer going to be coming with them when they got to the planet they were going to.
They were going to decommission
he felt like he has abandonment issues in a way, and so did Rain about not wanting to tell him. And so now he is the synthetic upgrade. He also like drops the bomb, like, oh, you know, like leaving somebody behind. So it kind of breaks that sibling relationship up a bit. That's what this is all about.
They could have still done that, and they could have done it without Iain home. They could have just had the whole emotional thing before they'd gone on board the space station that, you know, Rain doesn't have any parents, and lo and behold, Andy doesn't have any parents. Just drop in little bits of dialogue here. I don't know what it's like to have a mother. I was artificially created, wasn't I? When he gets on board and plugs himself into the computer, Mother starts speaking to him. So now he is talking to Mother, just like he does with Iain Holm through this movie, though we don't have to look at Iain Holm's fucking horrible CGI face. We just hear in Andy's head, and Andy is then conflicted of he loves... Well, you know, he cares for Rain, but he also wants this mother figure because he feels like he's better. It doesn't matter. None of that matters, because they take this chip, they stick it in Andy. Andy goes, oh, I don't know what this thing is on Navarro's face, but there's somebody in this room that does. And so they wake up Iain Holm. Now, depending on where you saw it, depends on how well the special effects were.
Oh no, it's shit. Whichever version you watch,
It is pretty shit. I mean, it's not Iain Holm's face, and
it is. But I mean, because they got they got a face mold from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And so it is literally a mold of his face.
It's a mold, but it's not his voice.
It's not. No.
No.
But there is another voice actor that very, very, very close to it.
Why?
Now, it's because it's a bit of connective alien tissue. It's the same reason why Lance Henriksen turns up in lots of extended alien stuff.
But bro, they could have just had Andy deliver the exact same information. I'm reading here where I'm being told by Mother that 20 years ago they lost this ship, and now they've actually managed to find this creature. You didn't need Ash to explain it. It is a callback to the first movie. But this is the time thing that I have the major issue with. 20 years, 2 decades is what Rook says. 2 decades ago, one of our ships found this planet and found this alien. So the company knows. They know where the fucking planet is. They sent the Nostromo there. They've been in contact with Ash. They put Ash on the Nostromo for this particular fucking mission.
Yes.
And then they go, oh, well, we lost it. When the ship exploded, it was lost, and so we've been looking for it all this time. We've been scouring the entire sector in which we sent the Nostromo there. We're just looking, right? And 170 days ago, which works out to about 6 months, depending on how you look at time and space, depending on orbital suns and all that kind of stuff. 170 days ago, we found the creature and brought it on board. Now, going from what we saw at the beginning and what you can read in the Alien Romulus comic book, which I really say you shouldn't, ever.
It's a waste of time.
It's a massive waste of time. The creature woke up and wreaked havoc. That's all he says. It wreaked havoc amongst the crew. Okay? Some of them were taken to a hive and used for facehuggers, which made more. Take into account, Rook cloned facehuggers from the alien DNA. What? Now, I'm not entirely sure how the science of this works. I know
Me either.
I know full well he couldn't have got the fucking DNA samples from the alien's blood, because supposedly it's got acid for blood.
Oh.
And acid, I don't believe alien xenomorphic acid contains the proteins to be able to have the DNA tissue. It certainly hasn't got no fucking hair.
Well, I don't see any of the black goo in the acid, so I don't know.
Right, but here's the thing. Now, he took the alien's DNA and made facehuggers from it, right?
Yes.
And then from the Facehugger, Rook explains, and I took this from the comic book as well, is that through the Facehugger, they found the black goo. Now, the black goo is supposed to be some kind of speed up agent. This is why chestbursters grow so fast in certain aspects
you've given yourself
of the movie.
You know what? This black goo can just do whatever the fuck the writers want it to do. It's the MacGuffin that the alien universe sure as shit did not need.
It did not
And so
need.
the writer's like, how do you explain it? Oh, the black goo did it. How was that? It grew so fast. The black goo did it. How did you able to retroactively make facehuggers from the black goo? Because the black goo told me to do it. And it's just like all of the mystique, the mystery, the wonder of where that xenomorph came from, where that ship came from, where those eggs came from. It's all jettisoned out the airlock when you go, no, just 3D printed it now. It's easy. You want one? I've got all vacuum packed downstairs in the fridge.
Yeah.
It's just soulless when you do that.
Empty. And that's the thing. Up to this point, I've been feeling empty. I felt empty with that opening. I felt empty on the planet when you were giving me this cast. I felt empty when they came on board, and now I feel even more emptier when you have a bad Iain home explaining to me the history of the Renaissance Station. And to make matters fucking worse, they have walked through this room like 3 or 4 fucking times, and nobody noticed the giant fucking alien in the ceiling over a massive hole, in which Rook goes, oh, when we killed it, it released acid all on the floor. Who knew?
Was it Swan Song?
It wreaked havoc over this station until what was left of our security forces shot it dead, only to trigger its swan song.
Well, watch out.
And somehow I didn't get sucked out the hole either. It's magic.
Oh, in the comic book, he doesn't get sucked out because he was crawling along the floor, because obviously he's only half body, and he was holding on to a computer. And he only killed every other crew member because he was too busy checking to make sure that the black goo was still being worked on. Everybody else of the Renaissance Station got sucked out into space and died because Rook went, I'm checking my computer. And then he sealed the station. And that's the other fucking thing that pisses me off as well. Not piss me off, confuses me. I don't fucking know. I'm getting to it. I'm getting higher now.
So do you think Rook sent the distress beacon to fucking Tyler and Bjorn?
Mate, I don't know, because the space...
Need test subjects.
The space station couldn't have been in orbit of the planet when the probe came back. There's no way. The space station has come to this planet.
Yeah.
How?
It's drifted through space. Yeah.
Drifted? Drifted?
Yeah, for I don't know how many months.
I'll buy.
It couldn't have been very far.
I'll buy the plot if Rook had turned and went, I was seeking Weyland-Yutani help. That's why I came to this planet.
Closest one.
And then later on he reveals, actually, I didn't look for Weyland-Yutani help. I was looking for more specimens to be able to get facehuggers on. Ooh, aren't I evil? That would have been good. But no, the movie doesn't do that. Rook goes, I sealed the station. And nobody goes, well, so why is it flying into the fucking rings of rock around our planet? We're told it's going to be 36 hours. Oh, I get how they go, the rings are a bit close. What do you mean? Well, we've got 36 hours till it crashes into the rocks. And Bjorn's like, really? You're only telling us now? Why didn't you tell us this? We were flying up here. And then something happens. We'll get to it in a minute. Something happens and he goes, oh, we've got 45 minutes.
Well... yeah, I mean, you gotta have an emergency clock. You've gotta have some motivation. We've gotta have things could all go wrong if we don't do it quickly.
Yeah, but somebody set the station on that path in the first place. Why didn't Rook go, oh, well, I've sealed the station. I know, if I hit the retros here, here, and here. I mean, I know he probably couldn't crawl to the bridge. Mm-hmm. Right, wherever the bridge is. We don't know where the bridge is. We don't know who's controlling this space station. There are no bioweapons teams.
I thought they were on the bridge.
Are they? Are they in the
I think
science
that's the bridge. That's the bridge.
Well, why didn't he activate the fucking retros and hold the station in place? Why didn't he contact Weyland-Yutani and say, oh, we need more fucking firepower here?
Man, I thought Prometheus gave us more questions than answers.
Oh, man. The whole idea, like I said, Weyland-Yutani is supposed to be the big evil in this movie.
Big incompetent.
A big incompetent, really, because nobody at Weyland-Yutani goes, oh, has anybody heard from the special space station that we had who would have told us that they picked up the xenomorph that we were looking for 20 fucking years ago?
Weyland-Yutani couldn't have gotten to where they did through incompetence, right? They just couldn't have. They had to have something that got them to be where they are. And so, like, it's only now where I reckon, that's the only way I can mentally figure this out, is that lots of Weyland-Yutani has decompartmentalized a lot of the like special branches or scientific discoveries,
so
or
nobody
pharmaceuticals
communicates with anybody.
So yeah, that's my thinking, and that's why the board and like aliens are sat there going, you know, and all these uncharted worlds, nothing never repeated or has been seen before, and you know, it's just like none of them know what happened, and none of those characters probably did know what happened because they weren't told. You know, so it's like, so again, so maybe Rook didn't have anyone else like in his section of the company to talk to.
We're just spitballing here because, like we said, at this point, they come up with the idea that if they use the cryogenic fuel on the tail of the facehugger, they might be able to pull the facehugger off. Mm-hmm. And they managed to do it. They free Navarro.
It's a pretty graphic, explicit shot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, great special effect. But we'd already had the shout out the X-ray scanner thing that Navarro found, and so we're gonna see that in a minute as well. But Bjorn's just like, look, we need to get her off the planet. Navarro's like, I want to get off the space station as well. Let's get back to our ship. And Rook says to Andy, look, humans are emotional. You need to take control. Nobody questions that Andy is talking to Rook on his own.
Right.
Nobody goes, well, maybe we should just take a moment, Navarro, and check your life signs, make sure you're okay. You've only had this parasitic creature that we found out creates these fucking monsters on you. So we really need to make sure you're okay. Nope, Bjorn and Navarro have to do the same old fucking tropey fucking bullshit of let's ruin the escape plan for everybody else. So they rush back to their ship. Andy turns to Rain and says, hey, Rain, I'm going to show you now that I'm a little bit more upgraded, and does his running thing.
Yeah.
And holds the airlock door to show that he's superiorly stronger than everybody else. But Navarro rushes aboard the ship and starts getting ready to take off. Now, we hadn't brought up Kay at this point. Kay, obviously, Tyler's sister and friend of Rain, is pregnant.
Oh, that's her character.
Now, what makes it worse, that makes her character arc worse, is the fact that she's acting like she's pregnant. And I made sure I was checking with the wife. I was like, look, how far has she got to be? And the wife was just like, well, she's got to be at least a couple of months. She's got morning sickness in. And I was like, okay, well, that's at least a mark to go from. But it's the fact that Rain's like, who's the dad? And Kay's just like, oh, some asshole.
Who's the father?
Some asshole. Just don't tell my brother.
She shagged some asshole on some planet and got pregnant over it and doesn't give a fuck. So why should I give a fuck? Why should I give a fuck about her and her kid if she, the actress, the character, doesn't give a fuck about it? She's willing on just putting herself in a dangerous spot. Look, please don't tell my brother I'm pregnant. Your brother hasn't noticed all this time?
Shows how much attention he's paying.
Exactly. You didn't bother talking to Navarro about it. She seems to be the only other girl other than Rain that you've been talking to. You didn't speak to any medical personnel on the planet. They didn't give you anything. I'm sure. I suppose that's Weyland-Yutani's fault again, isn't it? They didn't hand out Johnnies to the fucking colonists, so everyone was just fucking. We just want them to fucking make babies, so then we got more of a mining force.
That's the bottom line.
But Navarro gets on board the ship, Bjorn gets on board the ship, and Navarro starts to feel a little bit unwell.
Mm-hmm. And she starts convulsing, and she starts foaming at the mouth, and she grabs hold of her X-ray machine, and she's like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
Now, I thought, like, if you're going to do another Chestburster sequence, I was like, you know what? I think they had a really good idea with that X-ray machine. I was like,
they did.
That was great. Watching her, like, because she's flapping around with it, and then she puts it behind her, and she's looking down, and she can see it moving.
Yeah.
We can see it moving.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great because that's actually quite new.
Yeah.
Like we've only ever seen it pop out. We've seen X-rays of one in there, but never moving.
Yeah.
You know, like Ripley sees one in a CAT scan in 3, but
Yeah.
seeing it like that, I was like, oh, it's aggressive. And we see it punching out a rib before it bursts out and through. I was like, okay, you did it good. You did it good.
But it's too fast.
Yeah, my problem is the fact that she only just had that facehugger taken off her face 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I mean, in film time, I think it's only a minute. Like, a film time passes before that happens. And even Rook turns and I think he's like, yeah, I think there's like 60% chance you're infected, 40% chance you're not. And also, I mean, the facehugger was only on her face for a couple of minutes. Again, so I'm like, oh, the black goo did it.
Yeah,
and then the facehugger actually doesn't fall off and die. It scuttles away. I'm like, they die once they're done their job. Granted, they will walk away and die, but that thing still looked like it had life in it.
Actually, as they pull out the tube, I think you can actually see the thing go into her throat as the tube comes out. And that's how bullshit it is. Because then it's gone into her chest and it's just speed growing.
Oh, yeah.
And in fairness, I was looking, like I said, I watched this movie 3 fucking times. So I watched this Chestburster sequence really close. The Chestburster is maybe 2, maybe 3 fingers big, you know. It's not bad. It's not like it's it's not like it's that fucking thing from Covenant that climbs out with arms and fucking legs. This one actually does climb out like a little baby. Like if you
flops.
Yeah, like if you killed it there, you'd be okay. Kill it there. But if you combo in everything else that's going on, Navarro has just died.
Kicked the pedal.
She's kicked the pedal. The ship's gone flying
It hits the thruster of the Renaissance station, which sends that on course to hit the rings within like 40 minutes instead of 37 hours.
You've got to love the fact that ship lands again in another fucking docking bay.
Pure accident. Like, you can't write that.
No.
Because no one would believe it. And this film went, oh, they'll fucking believe it. It's insulting.
It lands in the other docking bay of the Romulus side. So our survivors here, Andy, Tyler, and Rain, are like, oh, we've got to go to the other side of the space station in 40 minutes or we're all going to die. And they do. But first, they've got to walk through the room of facehuggers. Oh my God, movie. How, though, do you slap me in the face every now and again? We have to go through this room. And unfortunately, all the facehuggers that escaped earlier are in the room. But Andy, the genius, goes, I reckon the facehuggers can only sense you through temperature change. So, if we raise the temperature of the room to match you as well, then you can walk through and dodge them all. But any change, be it that you laugh, you cry, you fart, you forget that you've left
Take a phone call.
Stress, fear, panic, spike your temperature and you'll be exposed. Sweat, goosebumps. That's your skin trying to cool your body down. So watch out for those.
Maybe your shoelace is undone. Anything is gonna make those facehuggers freak out. And it works because like they had the remote control models and you see them on the walls and they look cool, but it's fucking bullshit. I've played enough games that even when you walk in the hive and the hive is fucking really, really fucking warmer than you are, the facehuggers go for you. I don't know how they fucking see these things.
I thought this was the perfect organism. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, it's cold. I can't see anything. Is that you?
Yeah.
They start facehuggering each other.
They start facehugging. But while they're walking through the room, fucking Bjorn and Kay have woken up. Now, like I said, I don't know who hated Bjorn. Somebody hated Bjorn.
Because he's so unlikable?
Yeah, but they didn't have to kill him like this. This was just really shit, right? So they've come across this thing on the wall, which we are led to believe is the xenomorph. It's climbed up into its own cocoon. And
wait a minute, last time we saw it, it was the little baby thing.
It was the little baby thing, and now it's gone onto the wall.
But we've seen its skin shed on the ground.
And it's cocooned itself and now it's growing.
What? But that cocoon's like 3 times its body mass.
I know, baby.
How did it get that? And still be in there?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, because, like, I don't think anybody knows, because this is, I guess, this film's slab at originality by going, hey, there's a gap in the alien life cycle that nobody knows about. And that's because the alien climbs into and cocoons in this vaginal kind of sack thing.
that was the worst.
And it actually grows into adult form in there, and it's been doing it. I mean, to be fair to Fede Alvarez, he has gone on and said, like, maybe you know, it's just because of the black goo in this alien, or maybe it's just because of this alien on this station, or maybe you just didn't see it in all the other alien films. So it's like, it's
like grasping at straws and that nobody's left any straws.
It's almost like he doesn't have the confidence himself to go, this is actually the alien life cycle going forward.
He doesn't.
It's
because Disney could change it at any point. We've seen it happen in the past.
It's like testing the water to see how people react. And my reaction is, it's not fucking needed. Like, the alien life cycle is complex and simple at the same time enough as it is without adding this extra stage.
But Bjorn finds Kay and goes, I'm really angry. I'm going to take my stun prod and I'm going to shove it in the vagina thing, and I'm going to electrocute and try to kill whatever's in there to try to redeem my character because everybody fucking hates me. And he does, and there's some screams, and you think, oh, maybe he's done something. And then you see the spike sticking out the vagina thing, and it's the tail.
Right.
And it whips him in the face.
Yeah, like uppercuts him or something.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Now,
I expected to see him with a huge gash up his face, but it was like nothing.
Mate, I watched this death. Like I said, I watched this death 3 times, and I rewound it twice to make sure I knew what was going on.
Yes.
What kills him?
The acid, eventually, or the shock, because like,
why does his chest explode?
His chest explodes?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess it was the acid, but if there was something else, I don't know.
No, yeah, exactly. There's nothing. Like, we watch this acid drip on Bjorn. It lands on his arm. It's on his face. He's acting all... And then it drops... Some of it drops on his chest. Now, like I said, I had to rewind this twice just to make sure he didn't have anything on his chest that I hadn't seen, like a battery pack or a grenade or something. But he lands, and it lands on his chest, and he starts scrabbling at it with his fingers, and he pulls his fingers away, and he looks, and his fingers are getting eaten.
Cool
and
shot,
then he looks down, and all of a sudden it just goes bang, and his chest explodes. Now, I rewound it twice. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And the only way my wife had to explain it to me was if the acid had burnt through his chest, his rib cage, which it kind of does when you look at it, and then it's dripped on his heart, and his heart has burst.
Maybe, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
The movie doesn't.
I'm just like, the entire time I've seen the sequence, every time I'm like, why after the first burning sensation did he just stay there rolling around instead of getting away from the thing that's dripping on him? Like, why does he lay there and die?
Why did he have to aggravate this fucking thing? I know he's angry because his adopted stepsister / girlfriend, whatever the fuck she was, has died from this thing, and he saw it, and so he's angry. But come on, it's just fucking stupidity to walk up to this thing and shove your electrobot. You've got Kay there. Protect her. But you've already proved that you don't care about anybody else because you tried to steal the fucking ship. Anyway, Bjorn's dead, and the alien is Bjorn. You like what I did there?
Yeah.
Alien Bjorn?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think this is my favorite visual in the film.
It's not as good as
watching
Alien.
the alien emerge from the vagina wall.
Yeah.
The way that the head comes through, perfectly shaped with its little hands on its head, like a crown. The way it comes through, and then we see the alien's legs or its feet open up and uncurl. It was like all of these little close-up shots, and then the way the smoke's coming through, we see I was like, I loved all of that. I was like, it's the first time we're really getting to see the alien in its splendor, and I was like, yeah, I liked it. I just don't need it to have emerged from what it did.
Yeah, and at this point, Kay has used the communicator to call her brother, who's still walking through the Facehugger room, to ask him where all the fucking keys or switches are to open the door, and he has to explain it to her, and the Facehuggers start to get a little bit aggravated, and she does get the door open just as the alien's coming at her, and then she does that running full shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck, movie? Why did you do that? What Why?
Stupid characters.
Because we needed to take her out for a couple of minutes
Mm-hmm.
because the other characters have to run through their room being dodged by the facehuggers.
Yeah.
And the facehuggers almost catch him as the door closes. But luckily, Andy closed the door with perfect timing. There was that bit as well I want to bring up where Kay was climbing down from their ship and you had the fans spinning and the lighting. And all three of those shots I felt were just stolen from Alien 3. It was such a fucking piss take.
Yeah, I mean, I love the visual aesthetics of the film. I thought it was stunning, and they really replicated what came before it in that sense very, very well. But there was another bit true I want to bring up, and that is when they are walking and they go through one room and there's a corpse hanging that they bounce into. It gives them a jump scare.
Yeah.
That was the director.
I also would like to bring up now as well, before we go off onto another massive rant, there was a sequence, I can't remember, I think it was like 40 minutes in, where Andy, he just had his conversation with Bjorn or Tyler, and he was stood in the corridor on his own. And there was a yellow wet floor sign on the floor. And the camera's got Andy in the background, and there's this yellow wet floor sign. Now, I know it seems really trivial, right? But it's fucking bullshit that you would leave that yellow sign there. You've had an alien species, this alien creature run around causing havoc. Your crew has been wiped out. Fucking everything's been sucked out into space. And you're telling me the yellow wet floor sign is still fucking standing?
Safety first, man. Safety first. So now Rain and Tyler and Andy are making their way down the corridor. They get to where Kay is on the other side of the door, and they're like, "Hey, Andy, open the door. Let her out. And Andy looks over and he's like, we can see the xenomorph back there, and the other two can. He's like, you know what? No, I'm not opening that door. And I think this sequence has the strongest performances from the surviving cast at this point. Kay at the door pleading, sold that very well. Her brother on the other side kneeling at Andy, begging to get that door open. I felt that like he was selling that. Yeah. And of course Rain just being confused at the whole situation, like you're my brother, why aren't you letting her out? Yeah. Like and Andy selling that like I've got to do this for the needs of the many. Yeah. So it's the whole android synthetic thing again. Yeah. So and then when that alien does, I mean, we see the alien behind her watching and seeing them on the other side of the door. I'm like, yeah, that alien is literally waiting for you to open that door. Yeah. And then the alien's like, guess not. Well, I'll just go and take her then. And I loved the flawless nature of the alien just going bang with the tail, bang, off she's gone. And I was like, perfect. It was quick, it was sudden. The gore hound in me was like, oh, we've been denied a gory kill, but I was like, but I applaud the alien just swooping in and gone. I like that.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, the whole idea of her going off, I'm just like, so they're going to be heading into the hive to rescue her.
Yeah, I mean, the moment she didn't die on screen, that's when you're like, okay.
They're going to the hive to rescue her. And this is what you find out in the back notes for this movie, is that it's called the Renaissance Station, and the Remus section is, you know, based on Alien. It's all the studies, the science, you know, all that kind of stuff. And the Romulus side is all aliens, like, you know, you even get the elevator going down, you know, God knows how many floors they pass, but, you know, the elevator is going straight down to hell. You know, they're getting guns. They head down towards the hive, don't they? And while they're down at the hive, this is where they hear Kay. Because it turns out that at the same time, Rook has kind of got some control over Andy after he had his chip put in. And Andy now works for the company. And so instead of taking care of Rain, he now has to take care of the company, and he has to go and get the black goo. The Prometheus fire, as Rook calls it. Ooh, there's another fucking nod. And
well, yeah, I mean, when he's talking about Shaw and the Prometheus expedition, the Prometheus music plays over that moment.
It does, yeah.
Now, there is a moment here which is actually one of my favorite scenes coming up, is when the double doors slide open into the new the actual science facility. The music that's playing is Wagner's The Entry of the Gods into Valhalla. So I was like, well, that's also the very first thing that Walter or David played when Mr. Wayland was like, play something. So I was like, oh, the music, it's echoing again and again and again.
There's just so many fucking stupid
There's so many callbacks. We'll get to some more of them in a minute.
And so after they've picked up the black goo and they're making their way through the hive, they find Kay and they start to take her out and they get given guns.
Now, yeah, I mean, just before they get the guns, there's a big moment there where Andy's just like, no, she's not been impregnated yet. There's no facehugger lying
on
about
the floor.
I'm like, how do you know that this works? Because earlier you said, oh, maybe I've been updated, but it didn't give me any of the inside knowledge. But then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, she's fine. I'm like, how do you know that?
Oh, yeah, she's not fine. She is dying.
Well,
but
yeah,
they're
she's
like,
bleeding out.
Yeah, they're like, oh, maybe the alien didn't impregnate her. And I'm
Facehugger
like,
will jump on anything.
Everything that's living. Even if she's dying. Even if she's dying, they'll get some life out of her.
Yeah.
You know, or they'll kill her so that they can use the resources. They won't just leave somebody encased in the hive and just walk away. But I don't know. We're talking about a fictional creature, right? We can do whatever the fuck we want. So at this point, they go, hey, we need some guns. Here is an auto-aiming pulse rifle with a 450 round clip.
Damn.
Wow, that's some pretty good tech. 37 years before we'll actually see another pulse rifle. Why don't we ever have these in Aliens? I don't know. Maybe because this is the only place that fucking had them.
The only thing I can think of is the reason why the technology is the way that it is that space travel takes, as we find out in this film, when they want to go somewhere, it takes 9 years to go further. It's going to take even more. That takes time. So with the fact that there's 20 years before Alien and 37 years before Aliens, like technology, like before it gets to other locations, it's going to take decades for technology everywhere else to catch up to where other like major technological growth is coming from. So I can understand lots of desynchronized kind of technology in the various Alien films, but yes, seeing a bleached pulse rifle without the grenade underslung, and the fact that it can hold so much ammo, and the fact that it has an auto aim assist for non-military use or users, I'm like, but it's been made for people that are trained to use it.
Yeah.
Why did those that have been trained to use it need auto aim assist?
What's fucking bullshit is the fact that they're like, oh, because Tyler's been acting all military since they stepped on board. Even Bjorn was like, what's with all the military stuff? And Tyler goes, yeah, I know what this gun is. It's a so-and-so and so-and-so. I'll show you, Rain, how to use it. And she's like, where'd you learn all this from? He went, magazines and computer games. I was like, oh, fuck off, Tyler. Really?
Aiming assistance. If that thing comes towards you, you point it in this general direction, you'll never miss.
Where'd you learn all this?
Games and magazines.
Somebody wrote that for you to fucking say you were going to be the hero. Oh, no, we can't have Tyler as the hero. We need our fucking rip-off Ripley to be the hero. And because she's never used a gun in her life because she's only been a fucking farmer on a planet with no sun, we got to give her a gun that auto-aims.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we know this film is already aping and calling back so much, but like the sequence where Tyler is stood behind her with the rifle, like helping her sync it up and lock it up. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's taking it from Aliens.
Yeah.
But like, if you put them like side by side or watch one after the other, like the sequence with Hicks and Ripley, there's so much nuance going on between the two characters. The way that it's like the way that set is dressed, the background is interesting. The way that it's colored. The tone of it all is really good to look at. When you look at the Romulus one, it looks
hollow.
It looks hollow. It looks sterile, and it looks emotionless. Yeah. And it doesn't. It's just pales in comparison so much.
Yeah.
But again, the part of me's like, she's got a pulse rifle. She's going to shoot some aliens.
But it's just literally.
She's going to do the thing.
I would have liked to have just been a fly on the wall on that set that day, where they're like, right, okay, guys, all right. Tyler, Rain, this is the pulse rifle sequence, and actually, we don't want you to try to act or emote, we just want you to copy this. Okay, right, you've copied it, thanks a lot, move on. And I would have just been like, really? You're not even giving these actors or actresses anything original to work with. You're literally just feeding them bits from other movies because that's what we really want at the end of the day. We want this movie to be all the other movies. But fucking Andy turns around and goes, oh, by the way, you can't use your guns. Why not, Andy? Well, because we're on the bottom of the space station, and so if you shoot any of the aliens, because they've got acid for blood, they're going to eat through the bottom of the space station, and we're all going to get sucked down to space. And I'm like, how weak is this space station? How strong is this acid? I know, before you say it, I know in Alien, the acid ate through, like, 3 floors, but then it stopped, and that was only a little bit from a facehugger, right? And I know in Aliens, like, they shot one and it ate through the floor and stuff like that. But we were also told in Aliens that the acid is neutralized once the alien dies, right? So it can't be that strong if you shoot it. Once it's dead, the acid should start to neutralize before, unless here's the floor and here's space. Mm-hmm. But, like we said, they can't use their guns. So they make their way into the hive. They find Kay. And Tyler sees an alien and jumps in the way to save Rain. And I thought the sequence was stupid because the tail stabs him in the back and lifts him up like fucking... it felt like 30 feet. Yeah. Lifting him all the way up. And then he looks down... He looks at the alien that's hooked him on the tail. Yeah. He looks down the corridor, sees a bunch of aliens, pulls up his gun, goes rah, and then he gets fucking...
No, he says, is that all you got?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's doing the Dylan from Alien 3. Dylan, But yeah, he doesn't get to swear or say much, and then close up face.
And he doesn't fire his gun or anything or try to protect anybody.
No Hudson last stand, just a Dylan quip, and then blah, he's like head punched. And
it was not a bad effect seeing him head punch, but it's so quick.
Exactly. It was. Honestly, I appreciated that we got to see it for a nanosecond on screen. It was quick enough. I liked the ferocity of it. Yeah. So I really thought that was cool, and it reminded me of obviously Parker from Alien as well.
Sure,
so
yeah.
But yeah, that was. I thought his death. I was like, it's kind of sad. I was like, okay, now. Because he was a likable guy, but zero personality, zero character, and a week from now I wouldn't even be able to tell you his name. So yeah. So yeah, now we've just got Rain and Andy and Kay and Rain are on the elevator going up, and she's like, "Carry on, get to the spaceship, get it ready." And
because I got to go back. I got to
go back for Andy. I'm not leaving him behind. Yeah. Oh, like, oh yeah.
And they had teased injecting Kay with the black goo, but Rain had gone, no, we don't know what this does. It's really bad. We shouldn't do that. And so they don't. And so she goes up on the elevator on her own and then goes, oh, maybe I should just inject myself with the black goo.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know. You're injecting yourself with something weird from a space station that's filled with monsters. What's the worst that could happen?
The 4th act of this film. But right now, we're still in the 3rd act. Oh, isn't it exciting? They're about to crash into the planet's rings, and they're all going to be smushed in space.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Rain, she gets Andy, she talks to him, and they're on the way out, but Rook has blocked the elevator, and so, oh no, here come the aliens. Can't get to the ladder, can't get to the elevator. I guess we're just going to have to start shooting. But if we do that, we'll die. Oh, let's just tell some more bad dad jokes. I was like, Ian, you be in your element here? Do you not like the bad dad jokes?
Mate, the bad dad jokes were the fucking best moment of this fucking film, you know? they at least made me laugh because...
how bad they are.
That's how bad the joke is. The jokes were so bad, they were funny in comparison to the horror of this fucking movie.
Yeah. And so Rain's like... after one of the jokes about gravity, she's like, oh, well, if the acid blood's going to hit the hull and burn and we'll all get sucked out, how about we turn the gravity off and the blood will go everywhere and then
we'll just float.
We'll float for it.
Because the movie had been establishing right from the start that they've got an anti-gravity problem and it switches on and switches
to
off
stop the ship exploding.
Blah, 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 blah.
Because reasons.
For reasons. So now if we turn it off, all the aliens will be floating and the acid will float. And so then we can just float past the acid. Now, when she shoots the alien, and I don't even think I ever see her actually move the gun just fucking...
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Andy's also right behind her as well, which I was like, and that is the only reason why I believe that she can like, as someone who has never fired a gun,
Yeah.
like me included, like watching her who's a minor, but we also do see there's a few shots where you look at her arms, I'm like, she's actually really toned. She's actually got some strength in her physique. So I was like,
Yeah.
she sold it to me that she was a minor doing maybe heavy labor work.
Well,
Her-
no, she was a farmer. She was being sent to the mines.
Okay, well, fair. But I mean, she still looked toned. She
Yeah.
still looked like she was capable and worked labor for a living. So I appreciated that. She wasn't like some skinny rake, you know? So I like that.
yeah.
And and also, the only way I could buy the scene was that Andy was directly behind her, and he is immovable almost.
And he's holding her down.
And he's holding her down.
Yeah.
So I was like, and so that she's able to show the end. So I was like, that's bonded them back together. That's cool. It's a cool action sequence. I do like seeing my aliens en masse, on screen, all moving at once in a wave of teeth and tails, and watching them all get gunned down. It was kind of sad, but I'm enjoying the action because not had much, and I was expecting, like I said, the mercenaries to turn up, Marines to turn up, something with a bit more action to it, because we were promised a slither of aliens in this film, but it's mostly Covenant, Prometheus, and Alien. So it's but then the sequence, I'm like, okay, so she's a farmer, a miner, she's never been in space before, so anti-gravity, all of that must be weird as fuck.
Yeah.
But did you realize she's a ballerina in space, Ian? She can navigate through spilt acid everywhere. Now, great, it does sound good on paper. Like she's, like acid in zero gravity. I'm like, oh, that's something we've never seen before in an alien movie. But I just can't buy her swimming through it and not burning herself once, really.
There should have been so much more.
Yeah.
There should have been so much more acid because you've shot these creatures so all of the acid would be coming out of them like blood. But no, we only get the bits coming out from the body parts that they hit, which were mostly headshots.
Yeah.
You know, the heads didn't explode or anything. It was just like a hole in the head and the acid came out.
And a fountain of blood,
And that was it. And so you've got like I said, I read in the notes that the big chappie had, made like 35 aliens. I was like, that's a pretty exact number, alien wiki. Did you count them? Did somebody tell you? And so I assume that she shoots 35 aliens, or 30 odd, because
there's still more.
There's still a couple that will attack them, because she wastes a shit ton of the ammo. Like I said, this is 450 rounds, and she cuts through a lot of it. And then they're trying to go up the elevator shaft, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do also, just one last thing, I do like that she fired the pulse rifle to avoid the acid at one point. But I was like, again, I'm like, I don't know if she would know to do that, but I guess she is smarter than I guess I gave her credit for in that regard. But she knew how to do that and to do that in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do... the gravity's gone again, and so they're like, well, we'll just...
The elevator's not working.
So we'll just fly up to the top. But then Rook's like, nah, I don't think so. I'm going to turn that back off.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we watch Rain 4. Oh, shit, they can't kill her here. Like, what the fuck is going to happen?
Kill her off.
And we've had some back and forth about the actual length of a xenomorph tail. And it's kind of hard to judge, but... Like, you think the tail is way too long.
Massively in this movie, I think they're way too long.
And I'm just like, I didn't mind, like, the tail length in some shots, but I do agree. Like, I go back to, like, Alien versus Predator, when the alien is up in the tunnel, and it managed to hook the Predator and bring him all the way up face to face with him. I was like, that was cool. But yeah, there was the deleted scene with Bjorn, where that alien tail's, like, halfway down the corridor. Like, it's like a joke,
Yeah,
but
the same with Kay. In some of the shots with Kay, the tail is massive. I'm like, there's no way it could keep its balance.
Yeah. And again, then when Tyler got pulled up through the vent again.
That was really long,
This was the shot where I went, that tail's too long. And it's as Rain is falling down, we see the tail come out, loop around her waist and catch her, and then bring her back up, so that eventually it can do the Alien 3 shot of the xenomorph head coming right up next to Rain, and just giving her a good look over, because of course the alien is prone to posing for the camera when it's about to make a kill. I should also go back, because there was another sequence where an alien did grab hold of Rain while she was trying to get up the elevator, but Rain had to blast that alien, so the blood burnt away the fencing, and so another alien's managed to get through, which is the one that eventually catches her. But good job that Andy's managed to get hold of that old pulse rifle and
Yeah.
blast away the alien after he's jumped down and grabbed it and fired at it all the way down like a superhero with his landing.
Yeah.
And then the moment in the film that I just went, I'm done.
Get away from her. You bitch.
I'm out. I'm completely out of this
defended
movie's
it.
experience.
You defended the movie up to this point.
I have. In places, I've
Yeah.
really appreciated
Yeah.
some parts,
Yeah.
but this was the straw that broke my back because you just don't do that line. That line is Sigourney Weaver. That is Ellen Ripley's line to the alien queen. Knowing that it's a queen, it's a mother versus mother. Ripley's just annihilated all of those eggs on the planet.
Yeah.
The queen is pissed. She's after Newt.
Yeah.
She's protecting her surrogate daughter.
Yeah.
It means something. Andy saying to that one alien, "Get away from her, you bitch." There is so much expression when Sigourney says it. She means it. She
means it. You've
had
been on the
nightmares
ride
about
with
this
her.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's Andy says it and he stutters like he can't swear. It is so awful. And the fact now that chronologically this line comes before Aliens, it just lessens Ripley's line. And so I'm like, that's disrespectful. On top of it all, on top of all the other callbacks, which I thought were neat little fan nods, is now just weighted this all down to the point where I'm like, you have it big time.
It was like in The Predator. I'm pretty sure in The Predator, there's a moment where the main guy says to his team, "Well, if it bleeds, we can kill it." And I was like, that's a fucking piss take.
I don't mind that line too much. I mean, it came up again in Prey as well. I was like, I don't mind that one too much.
But
it's because that was one of the few.
But it's also like if Danny...
They didn't overuse it.
Not Danny, sorry, Grace in Terminator Dark Fate. If Grace had turned to Linda Hamilton and gone, "I'll be back," you'd have been like, no, why are you fucking doing this? And then, like I said, I'd been so angry when I found out that Andy had said this line before I'd seen the Alien 3 soundbite at the beginning, that I honestly just thought, look, you know what, movie, I can let it go if that's the only thing you've done, is you've taken one line from one of our favorite movies
and one of our favorite scenes
one
of
our
all
favorite
cinema
scenes and given it to some half-assed character to just wreck. I could have lived with that. But the fact that up to this point you have just been slapping me in the face with callback after callback after nod after nod after Easter egg with so many things that I question and don't understand, and then you've got fucking Andy going, "Get away from her, you bitch."
It's like a question mark.
Yeah.
Like, are you? I don't know.
Oh, I'm so glad Bjorn said bitch to me at the beginning, because now I
know that word.
Now I got it and I can use it. I haven't sworn once throughout the rest of this movie, but here we go.
Get away from her. You bitch.
So now Rain and Andy have made it back to the spaceship, and they're making their escape, and the station itself is smashing into the rings.
Looks cool.
And is getting blown up.
I love Rook's final look as we see the walls deteriorate, as we see the rings coming closer to where he's stationed.
Well,
great.
That's it though. But that point, he obviously he says over the intercom to Rain and Andy, you know, about thanks for helping and all that kind of stuff, and Rain makes it clear to him that actually no, she's not helping him. You're going to be destroyed. We're going to get rid of the black goo. And he's really upset and annoyed at this point.
Because obviously Andy's not following his protocols anymore either, because Rain switched him back.
But they haven't realised that Kay obviously injected herself when they weren't looking, so they stick her in cryo.
Cryopod has an emergency, which she rushes to get her out.
Yeah.
And she gives birth in the pod.
Yeah, to
something which she love that Rain grabs it, runs away, and grabs the flamethrower. I was like, yes!
Is it the
burn
flamethrower or
Yeah.
the cryo thing? It's definitely
I don't
something
know, yeah.
because she's run along and she drops it and she's like, oh, okay.
But she's about to burn it or whatever, and then it peels back. You're like,
its face.
it's a beautiful, beautiful baby.
Baby. And the acid or whatever it has coating it makes it eat through the ground and it falls down. And I kind of like some of these visuals as she's moving around looking for it. But then at the same time, she gets a spacesuit from fucking...
Well, she strips to her underwear, then gets into a spacesuit. I'm like, I think I've seen that somewhere before.
Yeah. Well, she strips off just like Ripley in Alien, but she puts on a fucking spacesuit like she's picked it up from Prometheus with the face mask and everything. And I'm like... And I gotta admit, I thought it was cool. I don't like the fact that they tried to use a hybrid again. Because like I said, if you don't like a movie, if a movie hasn't done very well, don't take ideas from it and try to think you can make them better, because it's not going to work. The idea didn't work the first time round. It's certainly not going to work a second time. But we got this newborn thing, and it turned out that it's actually a basketball player in a suit.
Yeah.
I thought that was
he's really that tall.
He's really that tall. He's really that thin around his legs as well.
I appreciate that they went, okay, we need to bridge the gap more, that we need, like, it's not the abomination from Resurrection. I mean, this is what this is obviously aping.
Yeah.
But it is like it's kind of like a neomorph mixed with an engineer, because humans in the Alien extended universe of Prometheus and everything else, humans were made by engineers. So we have some of their DNA from the black goo. All humans have black goo in them.
And that's xenomorphs as well.
Xenomorphs as well. So we're all brothers and sisters in space.
Yay!
And so that's why it looks the way that it does, but it's mutating. And I guess I was like, why is the station called Romulus and Remus? What the fuck has that got anything to do with this film? The mother wolf feeding the two orphans, whatever, like the suckling of the...
Well, that's why it's called Renaissance as well. Because it's all
but then
supposed
there
to be
is,
some kind
I
of
guess, like the
spiritual
only
thing.
foreshadowing of now this offspring coming back to find its mama, who is lactating.
Yeah.
And, well, it drains her.
Yeah.
And looks... And it starts evolving, okay? The evolution of it's proceeding.
Yeah.
And I'd like, it is nightmare fuel to look at, but part of me is just like, oh man, I've seen this. I know most Alien films have a fourth act, a final confrontation. The thing always found a way back on the ship. But this thing, I'm like, I prefer the hybrid
Because
from
at least
Resurrection.
when you look in its eyes, it's kind of emotional, and you get that amazing sequence where Ripley is like stroking its face and the two of them kind of recognize each other.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. This is not.
No.
I'll be honest, I've seen this movie 3 times. How does she kill it again?
Well, I mean, well, there was the thing that Andy was playing with at the beginning. They got yelled at for the crane mechanism, and that's when Rain ties herself to it. It gets caught on the rope. At first, though, she goes down into the bottom of the ship.
Yeah.
She kicks over the cocoon that's filled with acid, which drops out the bottom.
Yeah.
The cable gets stuck on the lever, which causes the whole bottom to drop out, and then she gets to drop the line, fucking die or something.
Yeah.
And I think it's literally something like Hudson yells while he's dying while blasting the aliens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it basically just ends up like crashing into the rings.
Into the rings
and
as
I
well.
love that you can still see the Renaissance station crashing into the rings in the background.
What I think is funny though is that as you're watching those two things smash into the rings, you've got rocks or formations on the side, like it's like you're in a canyon. I'm like,
yeah, that's what the rings are made of. It's all broken rocks and
Yeah, but they were pretty big pieces.
They are, yeah. That's what makes them a visible ring. If they were small, you wouldn't really.
Well, yeah, true. Yeah, I suppose. But it turns out that the fucking hybrid has just been killed, and Rook has been killed, and the black goo has been lost, and all the weaponry that they had, the technology has been absolutely destroyed, and Rain climbs into a cryopod herself along with Andy and basically does a Ripley. Rips off another Ripley line. I am the last survivor of this ship. We'll be heading to Yavaga. Hopefully we'll get there safe. Who knows? You know.
Signing off. Yeah, me too. I'm signing off. Well, I mean, it's looking more and more likely with each passing day that we're going to get a follow-up to this, considering how successful this film was. We also have Alien Earth on the way. There's new Predator animated in live action on the way, and they haven't ruled out the possibility that maybe one day Aliens and Predators will cross paths again, considering how successful the last two entries have been at this point in time. But let's go back to Romulus one more time, Iain. Or you don't. What were your favourite scenes?
None. I'm good, man. I honestly, even if I try to justify something that looks good, I just feel it's a fucking mockery of what they took it from.
Yeah.
You know, even if I try to say, well, the visuals look nice, they had 6 movies to copy from. It's not hard to make the visuals fucking easy. If I tried to say, like, I didn't like the zero-G acid bit. I did not like them shooting the aliens. I did not like the hive. I did not like any of the deaths. I did not like the way that they wrote the script utilizing Andy or Rain in any of their sequences. So, no, I'm good. You do what you need to do.
Sure. The alien emerging out of the vaginal cocoon on the wall, I loved it. It looked fantastic. I don't like it in my Alien movie because I don't like that thing. It's an unnecessary stage in the Xenomorph's evolution that's just it's not needed. Yeah, it's original, but it's not needed. But visually, they did that well. I really like that. It's not a scene. It's like a 3 seconds and you blink and you miss it moment.
Yeah.
And I think it's when Kay is trying to get back to the others, and in the background we see 2 corpses go whomp through a tunnel, and I think it's the corpse of Bjorn and Navarro that the alien is grabbed and pulled off into the background. I was like, oh, that's great. That's neat, because we know that the aliens drag the corpses off, even if they're corpses, they still get broken down into other stuff.
Used as the hive.
So I was like, oh, I like that. I mentioned it already. It's when the double doors open and Wagner's music plays. I was like, oh yeah, I love the set. I was like, oh, I want to look at all the. I want to go on that set and look around all the details, the posters, the signposts, the keyboards, the custom made everything was so detailed and so well done that yes, they had lots of things to borrow from, but yes, they did also go back to the studios that made those films and went, do it again, do it for us now. And they did it, and they didn't miss a beat. So flawless work on the set and costumes and props. They were magnificent in this film. So that is memorable for me. It's one of the only things I would think of when if I have to watch this again, I would relish some of the visuals in this film. There was one other moment that I really quite liked, actually, and it actually lessened my anger just a fraction. Okay. And it's when the alien is doing the Alien 3 pose to Rain.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, come on, Alien, just kill her. Like, what is this, plot armor? And it's actually, that's what I was thinking. And then the alien kind of is looking over, and then out emerges the Facehugger, and I was like, oh, it was waiting for the Facehugger to latch onto her, and it was pinning her in so she couldn't escape. I was like, oh, I really like that even more, because I was angry a second ago.
Yeah.
So it just twisted me back into it. But the film, that's the one instance where it did that. Every other time, it was annoyance followed by despair that what was to follow. So yeah, Iain, I think we all know the answer to this one, but do you recommend Alien Romulus?
I can only recommend this movie to young people who have never seen an Alien movie before. As a fan, I tried. Like I said, I watched this film 3 times. I don't think I can push myself to a 4th unless I sit down and watch Prometheus and Covenant before it. And I hate those movies. The first 4 movies are fucking stellar, and I'm including Resurrection on this because we follow.
It's gotten so much better over the years.
It's so much better over the years. The Ripley storyline is just amazing, and just every other actor that tried to work with her on set brought so much with them. You know, Charles Dance, Ron Perlman, Michael Biehn, fucking Yaphet Kotto. Those names are fucking stellar when it comes to the Alien franchise. The characters in this are so hollow and weak, and I feel really bad for them that the studio just went, look, we're not needing you for anything other than just to replicate what we've already regurgitated for you and just make it that way. If you've never seen an Alien movie ever in your life and you're wary about going back to 1979 because it might be a bit slow and the special effects aren't very good, then by all means fucking watch Romulus. Spend your hours watching it and enjoying it and all the updated special effects and lighting and picturesque. It's great, but what you will find is that there were 4 movies that came before. 6, sorry, I forget Prometheus and Covenant. There were 6 movies that came before that this fucking director just went, all right, they want an Alien movie. I'll take that bit. I'll take that bit. I'll take that bit. I'll take that bit. And I'll mix it all together and I'll try to say it's original. It's not. It's not. I personally will try to never ever watch this movie again unless I do Prometheus and Covenant. But then I will try to probably avoid doing Prometheus and Covenant because I just love Alien so much.
Yeah, it's a big old no from me.
He said no! Listen! Give him shit! Why don't you like it, Gary? Well, because we fucking just told you.
Because I love Alien and Alien so much that I cannot recommend Alien Romulus. This was awful to sit through as an Alien fan, as I felt I was being served a reheated slab of cornbread with a horrid black goo centre. Ooh, burn! It's nearly impossible to connect with the film when its premise is filled with so many holes and absent logic that the plot is rushed and discarded before the film's main narrative even begins. From there, it's callbacks to each and every film that preceded this one, and it was cringy. It was soulless, and it lacked any good original characters or dialogue. The actors were all fine. Cailee Spaeny was good, but we've seen this before, twice before. So this is a copy of a copy, and it's tiresome and phony in comparison. David Jonsson, also a standout. But it's not hard when the other characters are devoid of sense and reason, or even that memorable. I imagine recalling character names for this after a week will be just as difficult as the choice of watching this again. So forgettable. The set design, on the other hand, I felt was fantastic. It was gorgeous, and it was packed with details. It felt real, lived in, and used. Same for the costumes and the props. It was fantastic work there. The special effects were also outstanding, mostly. The space vistas were incredible, breathtaking, and truly cinematic. The alien effects were also handled with love and care. The xenomorph looked amazing. Great suits, great puppets, and okay CGI in parts. Well, good CGI with the mother of all member berries starts talking and everybody squints their eyes as to avoid looking at the monstrously dead Ian Holmes' lifeless face as his head sort of wobbles from side to side as he tries to prevent his teeth from falling out of his goddamn mouth. It was ghastly and it was awful. And the music wasn't much better either. It felt hollow, it had no impact, and it was heavily borrowed from each other installment, rounding out the greatest hits. And as another reviewer said, this felt like a greatest hits album sung by a cover band. And you really feel that.
You do.
So to round it out, it's horribly written. It's disrespectful. It's just made slop to appease to a wider audience. And I think we should demand better. We have Drek remakes and sequels as it is. Not like adding Alien to that list. Yeah, bad characters. You know, it's just so many bad callbacks, or so many callbacks to the better movies. There was no real innovation here. It's a shadow of what came before it, and if you're like me, you'll need to watch the original trilogy again to wash away the pungent stench that was Alien Romulus. In space, no one can hear you. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Oh, for